Hey CEO, welcome to phase two of CEO Flow. I'm so glad you're here because today we're about to take all those scattered sticky notes, endless tabs, and to-do lists that are a mile long and turn them into something beautiful. We are going to create your CEO dashboard that is central and streamlined. Because when your tasks are all over the place, whether it's random notes, open tabs, long lists, or all in your head, it's no wonder you feel overwhelmed. It's like trying to run a business while juggling spaghetti. But what if everything you need to operate as a Christ empowered operator was in one place? That is what today is all about. We are going to finally start setting up your CEO dashboard, a home for all your recurring tasks and the resources you're going to need for them. So that way your brain doesn't have to hold it all. But before we do that, I was thinking about how God is a God of order, right? From creation through revelation, God has things in order, even when it feels like things get out of order. And an often misquoted verse that we look at around order is 1 Corinthians 14:40. But in all things should be done decently and in order. Now, why do I say misquoted? Because often we're not looking at the actual context of it. In context, Paul was addressing things that were distracting from worship, distracting from what it was time for. And as I got to thinking about it, I thought, you know what? Since all of life is worship, including our work, this biblical principle applies to what we do with our time in business, right? This is the heart behind what we're doing today. We are going to bring order to all the randomness so that peace and productivity can flow. Okay. And when you do that, you will see results coming out of your time. Okay. So by the end of today, you're going to have a mapped out view of your CEO tasks. You're going to have a working CEO dashboard, or at least the start of one. And you're going to start creating this daily, weekly, and monthly rhythm that is going to keep your time flowing in the right direction. And most importantly, having a system, not just another checklist, is going to help you work from it's okay when you're feeling overwhelmed because I know right where to go and it will tell me exactly what to do. But there's one more thing we have to do before we jump into building your dashboard. We're going to pause and zoom out. I want to take the prep work that you have done to audit your tasks, right? Your CEO tasks and non-CEO tasks. You've gone through with the 4Ds. What am I deleting? What am I delegating? What am I delaying? So that your list hopefully is sitting in front of you is yours to do in this season. And then we categorize them between reoccurring and true one and dones. And then we took those reoccurring tasks and we asked the question, when do I need to do this? Is this daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? And what I'm going to help you do is map it out based on those frequency categories. Now, this step is super important, and a lot of people skip it because they just want to jump into doing mode. But what happens when we just jump into doing mode without taking the time to create order first? Yes, we continue to do random. No wonder we get random results. So we do not want to just dump a list of tasks into another list. We are designing a system, not just another place to feel behind. So I'm going to introduce you to two of my favorite online digital tools that are going to help you with this process. Now, that being said, if you are just a paper pencil girl and that's where you want to do this, you are more than welcome to do it. Or if you have another digital tool that you are already using that you want to use some of these techniques in, then feel free to do that. I do not get any kind of cutback for you using these task tools. However, what I have found is that these are very simple and these are very easy for us to not only change and to build, but also then to adapt as we need to. So I'm first going to introduce you to MindMeister because that is where we're going to map out those tasks you're doing. So I'm going to get my screens ready here because I'm going to share some screens with you. So I want to make sure that I can see everything that I'm doing as we are going along here. The first thing you're going to want to do before you go over to the link I'm going to give you, or the screen I'm about to show you, is to download the CEO Dashboard Task Map. Okay, so the link should be right there in your Phase 2 guide. Go ahead and click on that. Download it. If you can, put it on your desktop. It'll make it easier to find it. Then you're going to want to head to mindmeister.com. And if you don't already have an account, you can create a free account there. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be picking up here as I am sharing my screen so that you can see exactly what that looks like once you get there. Okay, so once you are in MindMeister, what you are going to do, I got to move my screen over just a little bit more so I can see everything we're doing. Okay, what you're going to want to do when you get in here, super simple. See over here where it says import? You're going to simply click import, browse files, and that CEO dashboard task map hopefully should be right there on your desktop, and it will open right in there. Okay, then when you come here, right, it's going to show you your recent maps. It should be that first one that is sitting right there looking at you. And this is what it looks like. Okay, very simple. I went ahead and created it for you. So that way you didn't have to. But essentially what I did is if you click over, well, let's say I had to kind of click on this. I first started with an org chart, which allows us to get these different categories here. And then under each of these, I'm now using this. I'm now making these lists because now I want things coming down from there. Okay. So the way that I created what you see is I made it an org chart. And then I went ahead and did this step for you as I clicked on each one and made it a list. So that way it's going to start listing things underneath. Okay. So let me show you how this works. So you are going to take wherever you have collected those CEO tasks, and you are simply going to add them underneath the frequency that they fall. Okay. Now you can do this all in one sitting, or you can do this as you do tasks throughout the week. Now, what I recommend, especially if you're a take action girl who really wants to get her CEO dashboard up and running so that it's saving you time sooner rather than later, is set aside maybe 30 minutes to an hour and to do the 2 steps that I'm going to show you today. Okay, so step 1 is mapping these things out. So in order to do that, for example, you're going to list the things that you're doing daily. The way that you do that is you simply click on the plus. It's going to add a child when you do that. So say, for example, you are checking inboxes. Okay. And then you are going to click below it to add the next thing. So maybe you're sending reminders for that day or the next day. Maybe you are checking in with your community. I check in with the Redeem Her Time community on a daily basis. Maybe you're checking your socials. Again, you're just going to click the plus underneath each one. Maybe you're going to be doing some reach outs each day. Okay, so you're simply going to list your daily, what are the things I need to do daily? Every single day, I need to either do this or at least check in with this to see if it needs some time and attention today. Okay, I make these a part of what I call my startup flow or my daily power hour. What are those things that I know need to happen on a daily basis? Okay, so go ahead and laundry list all of those out. Again, all you do is click on the plus below each one and it lets you keep adding to that list. Okay, then when you're done with that, or as much as you can think of right now from the work you've already done, now you're going to move on to weekly. Okay, so you're going to click on weekly. Again, to start the list, you're going to click to the side. Okay, so one of the things I do weekly is my podcast. Okay, and then I also do my content. And I'm also doing client work. And I'm also doing follow-ups. So those are just a few ideas of things that could go there, right? Again, you'll put as many as you have that need to happen on a weekly basis. Now, maybe this is once a week, maybe this is a couple of times a week. But if it's not daily, then it's going to go in this weekly column. Okay. Now, I don't want you to so say, for example, I wouldn't want to start laundry listing all the tasks I do on our podcast and make this one big long list. So if there are more steps underneath one of these categories, try to think more in buckets, right? Because podcast has several steps, content has several steps, right? Client work may have several steps. Click on that one. And then underneath that one, you're going to click to the side and it's going to allow you to kind of create a little mini list under that. So for my podcast, first I'm going to outline it. Outline, I can't type to type and talk at the same time. Okay, and then after I outline, I'm going to record it. And then after I record it, I'm going to upload. And then I'm maybe going to work on my show notes. Okay, so what you can do is you can put all of these under podcast. So that way we can collapse this. And I can expand it, I can collapse it, right? And it just shows me that podcast is one of the weekly things, but I know there are multiple steps underneath there. Okay, so we don't want this to turn into just a laundry list of a bazillion different things. As much as you can, think in categories and think in buckets. Okay, so if you're up for it, if you know how long it's going to take you, for example, to outline it, then when you get to that one, maybe you're going to say, okay, that's 30 minutes. Okay, put the time there while you're there. And if you don't know, just, do your best. Mine are usually about 20 minutes in length. At least that's my goal. So start putting those times there or guesstimate what you think they are. And then as you actually do them, you can pay attention to that so that you're really seeing how much time do you need to set aside for some of these tasks. So step one is going to be to map out those CEO dashboard tasks based on the frequency. Are they daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, or are they more of a project? A project is something that's not going to happen as often. It may be something that is coming up and it's going to have, it may be something that I'll show you when we get over to the Meister tasks that you may want to create a project card for, or you may want it to have its own project board. So these are going to be like larger things, like maybe you're doing a website refresh, maybe you're doing just so again, that could fit under annual as well. But maybe, for example, when I did the planner, that was a project, but I'm not coming back to it on a regular basis. So I just wanted to give you a place to dump some of those bigger projects over here. So what you might want to do right now is push pause and go ahead and take the tasks you've already collected and add them to your task map. The reason I really like this is because it's very easy to look at, right? It's pleasing on the eye, but it's also very easy to come back and to move things around. So say for example, you want to move something from monthly to weekly or from weekly to monthly, or you want to add some more things down there. This is going to be a living document for you to kind of have as this way to get it out again out of your head and all of those lists and have it be in a nice place where you can see where are the tasks that I'm doing and how frequently am I doing them? Okay, but this is not going to be where you're going to do your tasks from because your CEO dashboard is going to be a much better place for that. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Okay, this is like now you just trying to create this living document with the tasks and the frequency that you can keep coming back to again as you test, tweak, and grow. Because undoubtedly you will not have put things on here that you do. And so you'll want to come in and add them. Or as you grow, you are going to maybe have new categories of tasks you're doing. And so this will be where you can come back and add them. And it's also going to make it a whole lot easier when you're ready to delegate a set of tasks to an admin, to an OBM, to a VA, to another team member, because you'll be able to very clearly see what those tasks look like right on here. Okay, so that is step one, is to map out your CEO tasks. Step two is going to be to set up your CEO dashboard over in MeisterTask. So MindMeister and MeisterTask are parents of each other, siblings, I don't know what you call it. I have found this to be a really helpful place to be able to do that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come in. Didn't want to necessarily show you mine, but that's okay. You are going to go to your guide. You're going to download the CEO dashboard template that I have linked for you. Then you're going to come into meistertask.com and sign up for a free account. Now, for I think about $13 a month, you can get a paid version of MeisterTask, which allows you to create lots of boards. With a free one, you only get 3 boards. So you can see I definitely have a paid one. There are some things you might see on mine that you can only do if you have a paid version. I did link to a separate video where I showed you some of my tips and tricks and things like that I do to make it super user-friendly. So I will show you a few of those things now, but again, you may want to go and watch that video as you're building out yours as well. And you may want to consider upgrading to a paid version if you want some of those automations or if you want the ability to make more than 3 boards. I highly recommend board number 1 is your CEO dashboard. And then you're probably going to want to make board number 2, probably something around your content creation. And then you have an option for board number 3. Okay, so, but don't worry about those right now. We're just going to focus on your CEO dashboard for now. So when you come into MeisterTask, you're going to click, first of all, on projects. And then up next to projects, there's a plus. So you're going to click on that plus and then go all the way to the bottom where it says import. Click MeisterTask and choose a JSON file. I'm not sure if this is how you say it, but this is how I say it. And then it should give you that what you had just uploaded. And it's going to go ahead and put this in here as soon as you click continue. Okay. And it tells you they're going to notify you when it's there. Okay. So if you want to be notified, just go to home. It will show you right here. It's been imported, right? So you know it's there. But when you go to projects, it should be showing up. Now I just added it. So it's going to put it at the bottom. And it's going to look like this. Now, here's a nice thing. You can close this little open close menu so you can have more screen space here. Okay. So I'm going to show you what the columns are that I have set up, but I do want to say, make this work for you. So if you want to change some of the names, the colors, the icons, different things like that, you are more than welcome to make it work with what works for your brain. So here are the columns that I have. On deck are things that I know are coming up soon, and I don't want them to get lost. So I keep this column over here on the far left. Again, you may or may not want that on the far left. You can move columns by simply clicking on them and dragging them. So maybe you want this to, kind of be somewhere over, over towards the end, like that's okay too. For me, I have it, if I can drag over that far. There we go. I'm gonna have to keep pulling it. For me, I have it over on the far left, just so that way these things don't get lost. And I'll show you another category that I have on here as well. Then I have this week where I'm lining up the tasks for this week and I do them in order of the days I'm doing them. I'll show you how to do that. Today, what are the things I'm working on today? What are the things that are in progress? Rule of thumb is there's only one card at a time in your in progress folder. Okay. If you're working on something and you don't finish it, then either you move it back to today if you're going to come back to it later that day, or move it to this week and put it in the order of when you're going to come back to it this week. When it's done, I put it in done, right? So these are the three main ones that I'm living off of each week and day is today, or sorry, this week, today, in progress, and done. Then tasks that are going to be monthly, I'm going to put in the monthly category. And then we'll get into the further out tasks. So the quarterly as well as are going to fit on, and annual ones are going to fit under these categories here, the Q1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where something is completed and I'm not coming back to it anytime this year, but I don't want to lose it because I'll probably come back to it next year. It goes in completed. And parking lot is for those ideas that it's not time anytime soon, but I just want to capture it but not have it distract me. So I keep my parking lot all the way here to the far right. All right, so simply what you're going to do is you're going to start creating a card for each of the tasks that you have on here. Now, when it comes to the daily one, I recommend if these are things you would do in like a power hour or power half hour, put them all on one card. So let me show you how I would do that. So click add task. I'm going to call this power hour. Okay, and then I hit enter. When I click on the card, now I can come in and I can start listing those things, okay? I'm gonna check my inbox. Say, maybe I want to get more specific. Maybe I want to say email inbox. Then maybe I want to say my DMs. Okay, so you're going to start laundry listing. What are the things that I said I was going to do? I'm going to send reminders for the day. Usually I do it the day before. Maybe I'm going to check in with my community. Okay, now here's a really great thing that you can do. For example, community, because I don't want to have to go click on anything else to go over there, I'm going to add the link right there. So this is the link that I go to check out my community. And look, it hyperlinks it. So the beautiful thing is when I come into this task card, all I have to do is click on this hyperlink and it will open up a new tab. Okay, so after today, you're going to have a rule of three. Your dashboard is your open tab all the time. And then whatever tab you're working in, maybe sometimes there's a second tab you're working in, but let's be honest, you don't really usually need more than 2 tabs at a time, right? So we're going to try to eliminate all of that. And all of those links are going to be housed here. In fact, I'm going to show you a really simple thing that you can do to help save some of those ones you go to often. So hold tight for that. Okay. So again, when I need it, I'm going to click on it. It's going to open up another one. Okay. Now, if you have the paid version, you can, do checklists. So say for this is my startup checks. Okay. If I want to create a new checklist, I'm going to click up on those 3 dots, click new. And so maybe this is now my groups that I need to check in. So maybe my community then would get moved down here and see how I can just grab it and move it. You can grab things and move them in any order. So say, for example, you want to do reminders before DMs. So play around with the order of what you want things to be. And again, I can create as many small checklists in here as I want to. If I want to, I can collapse them so I don't have to see everything. If you do not have the paid version, I don't think you can create checklists, but simply what you could do is you could just put something like this, and then underneath it would be like, now here's where I'm going to put the community one, okay? Or the groups that I'm going to do. Okay, so you can kind of create your own checklist by creating some kind of a separation in there, okay? Again, you can simply click on the X to delete it, click on those 3 dots if you need to do something else, convert it to its own task or something like that, okay? So that is how you simply create a card. Now, if there is one place you're going to be going, or you want to link to a couple different things that you're going to be using, again, here is where I will put some of those links. If you hit return, it's going to take you out of here. So you have to do shift return. and then you can do like the next link that you want to shift return, lets you go. Okay. If I just hit return, it takes me out of it, which is okay. I can always go back in, shift return, right? So you can put whatever links or notes up here that you want to put up there. And then you've got everything ready for you. Okay. Now, the other thing you want to do on each card after, again, you create the checklist and, the tasks and make sure that you've got any links in here, is you're going to want to start creating some tags. So click on tags, click on manage. What I recommend doing is going through and making tags. You're going to have one be daily. Okay. And then you're going to want Monday, Tuesday. Okay, I'm just going to create those for now. And you can choose what colors they are just by, clicking on the color that you want it to be. And so then when you come back over here to tags, say this is something I want to do every day. I'm going to click daily and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so now my brain sees this daily one, right? So that way I know when I finish, if this is going to go in today, because obviously it's daily, I'm going to do it today. As I'm working on it, it goes in progress. As I finish it, I can either put it in done or I can put it back at the top of the this week because I know it will be pulled for the next day, right? So you can choose to put it in the done and then move it at the end of the day or just put it over in the this week, okay? Say, for example, I have a new card and say this is follow-ups, okay? And maybe I want to do follow-ups on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to tag it with just those two. And then you can see again how it shows those, so as I'm lining things up, I put my daily ones to the top. And then when I'm lining up my day, I put them in order of how I'm going to do them. Okay. So there are a couple other things that you can do in here as well. You can put a due date on them. Now, these on your CEO dashboard are going to be reoccurring tasks. So there probably aren't going to be due dates per se, except for maybe the monthly things. Maybe you want to trigger what that date is for that week in that month. So for example, let's go over to monthly and say that tithing is one of your monthly tasks, and say that you want to do that in week 1. What I would do is go in and create some tags that say week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on and so forth. I make these grayed out so I don't get confused with the colors and things like that. And then say that this is a task that I want to do on week 1. So I'm going to click week 1. Now I could also put a due date and I could say, okay, week 1, for May 2025, maybe I want to trigger it to be on the 1st. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so now it's triggered on here. What I do at the beginning of each week is I go over and pull. So this is the first week of the month. I'm going to pull this card over to the this week column because it's going to be happening in that week. And then when it's done, it goes back to the monthly column because it's going to be repeated again next month. Okay, now I'm going to show you one more trick a couple things that you can do. And again, I have a video that I've linked in your guide, which is going to give you some more tips and tricks. If you want to change the icon or the colors of a column, you can simply click here, select a different icon, select, a different color. There are only so many color options. So, and then it will change that for you. If you want to add a column in between, simply click add new section, and you can go ahead and do that. If you want to remove one, you would simply click on select section options and click delete section. You can also collapse them. So say, for example, you don't want to see, now this one I would for sure keep open, but say you don't want to see all of them, right? But you want to be able to see I have 2 items there. You can collapse it and then click on this to reopen it. One other thing that you can do if you have a paid version is create automations. I'm going to show you this real quick. So I click on the 3 dots, I click on automations, add automation, update status. I want everything to open when it comes into today. Okay, and I'm going to show you how this works. But when it comes into done, I want it to close. So let me add that automation, update status, completed. Okay, so now watch what happens. So I've got my power hour, right? I'm working on it. This is my 1 card in progress, right? I'm finished with it. I move it to done. Watch what happens. Oh, hold on. Why did it not work? It was supposed to mark it for me. Update status, complete. Oh, I didn't click done. Sorry. Okay, so let's go back over here. It's in progress. I move it over to done. It marks it off. Okay, so for those of you who love the satisfaction of feeling like I can see what I did today, right, we'll mark it off. Now, the beautiful thing is when I go to put it back for the next day, it's going to mark it as open. Now, the one thing it doesn't do, if you have checked some of these in here, it will not uncheck them. So I just quick go through and uncheck them if I've checked them already. Okay, so that's a great way. I also usually set up that under the this week as well, because as I'm bringing things back over, I want to make sure that if they were completed from the week before, they are now open. So I usually set that automation up as well. But you can just on one of these, say for example, on this follow-ups, say you did it and you want to mark it complete, just go to the three dots, mark it complete, and it shows it as complete and you can put it in the done column, right? So if you don't have the paid version, you can do that. So this is now for you to take those tasks that are over here on your map and start creating a card, right, for each one. Now, again, if this is going to be my daily power hour, then I could have made a power hour and then listed all of them underneath one, because maybe there are some tasks that I don't want to do in the power hour. They need their own time, which I definitely do have some things that I do in that, just like I did for the podcast one. You can, recreate and move things around in here as you need to, just play around. When you click on it, it gives you some options to play around with things. So you click over on these three dots. And then you're going to take each one. So for example, I was, working on this. I come over to CEO dashboard. I create my power hour, and now I'm going to start putting those in here with any links right here. Okay. Now, I also told you that I was going to give you a little pro tip. Okay. And that is to create a frequent flyer link card, right? So I make this like all the places that I regularly need to go. So say, for example, I'm going to the Redeem Her Time website. Then I'm going to put that in there with the link, and that way it's all right there. So every time I need it, it's super simple to quick come in here and find. Better yet, if I need this link for a specific task, I'm going to put that task on that task card. Okay. One other thing that you may want to do as well is create a task card for a meeting. So for example, I meet with my clients for weekly accountability meetings on Mondays. So I could go ahead and create the card. I can put the Zoom link in there, and then I can mark it as Monday, because that's going to be happening on Mondays, right? So now I have a card that shows my meeting. You might even want to mark it as meeting, or you could say meeting next to it if you want to. So it's not a task, it's a meeting. So meetings could have their own task cards as well. Okay. But your job now is going to be to build out your CEO dashboard such that each of those tasks has a task card, and as much as you can, put any link to a Google Drive, to a document, to a website, to whatever it is on there. So that way, when you click on that card, it's right there and ready to go, and you can do that right away. Okay, then you're going to start following the rule of three, where that once you have your CEO dashboard up and running, you only have 3 tabs open at a time, no more. Your CEO dashboard is number 1. The thing you're working on is tab number 2. And maybe one more helper tab, because maybe there are 2 tabs you're going back and forth between. But when you're done, you're going to close them because they're all here on your CEO dashboard. So you're not going to need to have to keep them open. Okay, so your phase 2 homework before you come back for our next one is going to be to finish mapping out your tasks in MindMeister. Then once you have them mapped out in their frequency columns, you're going to start creating those task cards over on your CEO dashboard in MeisterTask. Again, if you want to use a different platform or a different tool, you're more than welcome to. I just find this one is really easy on the eyes and very easy and intuitive to figure out and to move tasks back and forth as you do them. So you're going to do this for your daily and weekly tasks. Start there first. Then you can start creating tasks for monthly tasks. Again, these are reoccurring tasks that you're going to create cards for. Okay, you're going to label them with the day of the week that they're going to happen, or you're going to label them with the week of the month they're going to happen. Okay, then I also recommend you start creating your frequent flyer link card, so that way you've got all those main links there, and a card for meetings that you are having on a recurring basis, again, with a link that you need to go right in there. How much time would that save to not be hunting, trying to find the link to get on that meeting, when you can just have it on your card and all you have to do is click it and you're ready to go? Okay, and then I want you to practice using your CEO dashboard for a few days. And in the next phase, we're going to see what's working, what's not, what needs to be added. Like we're going to, again, this is an ongoing process as we are fleshing this out to make sure that it is going to have everything that we need. And it's going to grow as you grow. So it's okay right now to just have a few things on there. And then as we go, you're going to continue to add those tasks on there. The goal is your CEO dashboard has all the reoccurring tasks. Okay. Not those one and dones, but those reoccurring tasks that are needing to happen daily, weekly, monthly, even quarterly and seasonally, which is what, or annually, which is what we're going to get to next time. How do we kind of do that bigger picture planning and use our CEO dashboard for it? Okay, when it comes to those one and done to-dos, you are welcome to create a task card for them and then put a date on them. Decide when you are going to give them time. And then when that time comes, do them, cross them off, and then move them to the done pile, right? Or you can even delete them altogether if it's not something you're ever going to have to come back to. Okay. What we are going to do then is we are going to flesh out the CEO dashboard for your daily, weekly, and monthly recurring tasks. And then next time we'll look at some of the longer term things when it comes to quarterly and annual planning and how those tasks go in there. So if you have questions, you are invited to come into the CEO Flow Inner Circle. And this is one of those things that's very visual. So I recommend take a picture of what you're asking a question about, or do a screen recording and put that in there. You can do a Zoom screen recording and drop the link in. I love to use Loom to do screen recordings. You can use that as well. That way I can see what you're looking at, but we want to make this work for you. And we want to make this like really like not only tell you what to do, but when to do it. Okay. So next time we will be working on the little bit more longer term things together. So let's get your dashboard working for you. So that way your time is going to flow in the right direction.